People, how are you? We are back. We are back. This is the TERRAN Lamp Show, Season 7. We're just continuing on Episode 8. We took a summer break and we are back. It's so good to see you. So good to be back on air. I truly appreciate it. You know I appreciate all the support. It was a wonderful, wonderful summer. I got a chance to enjoy Summertime Shy. So I was so excited about that. We are back. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. for my PST friends, my Pacific Coast friends, 8:30 p.m. for my East Coast friends. Make sure, I always say this each episode, please go to my YouTube at I Am TERRAN Lamp and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm working on getting my YouTube subscribers up so I can bring this show also live stream on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribing to YouTube. Make sure you're going to Apple Podcast. This is the TERRAN Lamp Show Season 7, Episode 8. We took a summer break and we are back. Please make sure you're sharing the show with your friends. If you have a story, and I know you do, I would love to have you right here on the show. Get in contact with me, message me, cell phone me, text me, whatever it's called. I would love to have you on the show. I'm so excited for our guest today. Rosie has been on the show before, and they are the most creative talent I've seen in a long, long time. I've been saying that I need to get some stuff, so I really need to commit to doing that. Rosie has such great work that they show the world and they share, and I'm going to have them kind of explain the process of what their work means, because there's also some good meaning behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Rosie on. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you're subscribing to YouTube. I Am TERRAN Lamp. I'm going to, actually, you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to put my Cash App in the comments. Welcome back. Is it, I can never remember if it's $ first or is it $ last on Cash App? I can never remember. I don't remember, but I think you'll get the point. If you donate to the Cash App, all that goes to help survivors in need, cancer survivors, heart disease survivors. That money that you donate, put survivor in the comments. It all goes back to help people pay off medical bills. So that's what I do with that money. Again, let's bring Rosie on and let's see what they see. Hello. Thank you all for joining us. We are back into the summer hiatus. There you are. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
You said you might be at the airport, but you don't.
No, my travel plans changed, so I am at home now, which I feel lucky that I'm not just in a loud place trying to do this.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you so much. I definitely want to hear what you're up to. Now, I took the opportunity to stalk your page a little bit. So I'm going to, well, you share everything. I have some questions for you after stalking your page. But I want to kind of get people up to speed on what you do. And then I want to tell them kind of what you've been up to, because I saw some new things that you've been doing since we talked last that I want you to share. And, just tell them a little bit about yourself. I know, we know you're from Los Angeles, Mexican-American, non-binary artist. I said you, and I meant it. You're so super uber duper creative. And every time I see your work, I'm like, I need to get something. And the whole, I know I don't want to give it away, but the whole skeleton thing, it's just so cool to me. So anyway, explain to people kind of what you do and what you've been up to, and then where you're going to go.
Me, I realize that I am underprepared because I did not have all my stuff staged. So y'all might have to come on a journey to me while I go out to the garage and get a couple of things. But my work is mostly folk art based. I really, really like folk art because it's more accessible, right? It's meant for everyone and anyone to partake in. And it's not like, no offense to people who do fancy oil paintings, but it's not like a fancy oil painting that you have to have a ton of wall space for. It's something that's really, yeah, from the community and for the community, and I really appreciate that about it. So a lot of my work is skeletons based, as you mentioned. That it's People oftentimes think it's around Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, which is kind of true, but there's a pretty long history of skeleton art in general in Mexico, not just limited to Day of the Dead. It's been a long time. It kind of got more popularized at kind of the turn of the 1900s, with Jose Guadalupe Posada doing all of the lithographs. You might have seen his lithograph of the Catrina, the skeleton in the like really wide brimmed hat and the feathery boa. And then also with the Leonidas family, who does the paper mache skeleton art. So there's kind of that tradition, and I try to be in that sort of vein of things. So I do retalos, which are the little skeleton boxes, and I've recently started getting more into paper mache in that tradition. But again, yeah, it's mostly focused on folk art.
So one of the things we talked about in the earlier show was, if I remember correctly, your mom was kind of into this, and then you were kind of like, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, and then you're like, here I am.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Yeah, so my mom is a ceramic artist, and I grew up around all of her art, and she just had art all over the house, and it was just something that I did as a hobby, and I didn't really see it as a career choice, which is weird because I had an example of it right in front of me. But then as I got older, I wanted to do more and more creative work, and yeah, it's a goal of mine, not something I can do 100% right now financially, but that's the ultimate goal, is to quit my day job, which I hope nobody's listening. Quit my day job and become an artist.
They're not going to quit now. They're not going to quit
Yeah.
now.
It's a long-term plan.
So what does she think now? Because I know since you've been doing this for a while, and we've talked like about a year ago. What does she think? Because you're in it.
Yeah, she's really excited. I think just like all, or not all parents, but a lot of parents, she's a little bit worried about me financially, and me being able to work as an artist. I think times have really changed from when she started and continues to work. Just it's a lot different, cost of living than it used to be. So I think she's worried about that. But other than that, she's really proud, really excited for me to be doing something creative. And I tell her that when she dies, I'm going to take over her family business.
Oh.
But that's kind of a joke. She knows that, and she's excited for me to take on her studio when she retires, which probably isn't super long from now.
But she might be like, I might be in it for, I just feel like being in it forever at some level. You know what I mean? Like, is she really going to give it up?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
She'll probably work until her, like she physically can't anymore, which I feel the same way. Yeah, just about art, and creating.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, hi Tyra, hello. So everybody, we are back. We took a summer hiatus. The TERRAN Lamb Show enjoyed the summer, and now Rosie doesn't know anything about the summertime shy because she's in summertime. They are in summertime all the time. I said they, sorry, Rosie, are in summertime all the time. So here we are in Chicago. It's about to get cold again, Rosie. I know you don't know anything about that because I used to live there and I used to make fun of people like me who would be freezing.
Yeah, it's like 95 here.
I wanted to know, when I looked at your page, one thing I noticed that I really liked is your use of color. And I know there's got to be something to that it's not just random color, Tell me a little bit about how that fits into your art, because your colors are really great. I mean, when I look at your page and the scheme or the theme or whatever it is, can you give us a little bit about the color? Because you mentioned the folk, and there must be some combination of color, thought process that goes into that.
Yeah, that really ties in. I've never had any formal art training, so I don't really know about like the specifics of color theory and all the terminology. But I'm really happy that you noticed that and mentioned that. I always say, like, I'm not the best artist, but I'm really good at color. So I'm really happy that you mentioned that. But yeah, it's just something that I grew up around. Again, I feel like I grew up in a house with no white walls, and I currently, my house has no white walls. You can see the wall mural behind me. I painted everything as soon as I moved in. Um, but yeah, it's just, I think part of Mexican culture is a lot of vibrancy, especially in the areas that more celebrate the folk art. It's a very vibrant community, both like metaphorically and physically. Like you'll just go and there's Pepto-Bismol pink houses next to bright yellow houses, next to turquoise houses. And I think just that richness and the saturation of colors is something that I really am drawn to.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like I said, when I look at the art and look at the, even like I said, even the page, you know, there's a lot of color. So one thing I wanted to ask you about that I did not know if you were doing last time that I saw most recently is the workshops.
No, that's brand new. I just did my first one
I
this Saturday.
know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so excited about that. The first one was Saturday, and it went super well. I had about 5 participants come, and they made their own retablo, and it was really fun. I think I like sharing it. I like it's something that I really love, and so I love sharing it with others. And it was also really inspiring to see everybody's very different styles. You know, every person had something that was totally different from everybody else's and beautiful in their own ways. So it was really wonderful to see that. I'll have more coming up. I'm going to do another make your own retablo workshop in either November or December, and then at the end of October I'll have a sugar skull decorating workshop as well,
Okay.
which I haven't posted the dates about yet, but that's another huge tradition for me is making sugar skulls, and I would love to share that too.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking, I was like, maybe one day we'll have to do one live.
Yeah.
And my question is, you know, is this something newbies can do, like myself? Like, you know, because I feel like, do I have to have it in my blood?
No, not at all. 100%. No experience required. I
Yeah.
try to walk people through the stages of everything from making the wireframes to shaping the skeletons to decorating and painting the boxes. And I try to do it step by step enough where, you know, you don't have to have any experience, and you hopefully get to leave with something you really like.
And what made you start those workshops?
Um, I had wanted to do it for a little while. I think again, it's like the folk art thing, right? It's not just reserved to a single artist or somebody who does that professionally. It should be something that everybody gets the chance to do.
Huh?
Um, and I also just really, yeah, I feel like art should be accessible to everybody, and art should be part of everybody's lives if they want it to be.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to have a forum to share that with people.
So have there been, since we've talked last, any obstacles that you had to overcome?
Um, Yeah, probably. It's been a weird year since we talked.
Oh,
It was about a year ago, and at that time I was doing a ton of pop-up markets, like at least once a week,
yeah.
oftentimes two a week. And it was very exhausting. And so then my goal was to kind of take it a little bit easier in 2022 in terms of pop-up markets, not in general. Um, and my goal was to get my stuff into a storefront.
Oh,
And then that opportunity just so happened to present itself in January. And so from January to August, I was in a store in downtown Santa Monica. I think that one was a little bit of a challenge just because it was, you know, finding my audience has been a little bit hard. Like my work isn't for everybody. It's pretty specific. And so finding that niche has been a little bit difficult. I'm going to be in another store starting October 1st that's more Latinx themed, which I think will be great. And then the other challenge with that was just, it was called 10 Women Gallery. And as a non-binary person, they were very welcoming but it just didn't sit right. So that felt a little bit like I just had to evaluate what was important to me and whether I wanted to continue being a part of something that maybe didn't feel like it was right for my gender journey. Um,
Uh-huh.
but was a good art opportunity. So it's just a little bit of a balance between like life values and art values and trying to balance
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, that's tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, but I would say like as far as obstacles, there weren't a ton. I've been trying to just um, build up a lot of more skills and try things that I haven't tried before, like the paper mache. I tried watercolors for the first time. I'm just trying to get my hands into a lot of different things, and I'm sure more obstacles will come. But right now, I'm just kind of trying to experiment more.
yeah, I mean, I do. If you're watching or you're going to watch this later, make sure you go to Rosie's page because the colors just pop out. They just pop. I mean, I think about it like when I think about my Instagram and I look at your Instagram, I'm like, man, those colors just pop off your Insta. I don't know if you do it, if there's something you use to make them pop off like that, but if you scroll up it and look at it all of them, your page, they just pop off the
Uh,
page.
Thank you.
You know, I'm sure
Actually,
you
what they
already
are.
way organized.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what they
Go
are
ahead.
is take pieces of poster board that you can just like buy for science projects, and then I just painted them with all my house colors. So every color that you see in my background is just a house color that I had extra paint for, and then I just use that as the
Mm.
background. So yeah, I try to make it as bright as possible. Just that's my aesthetic. I like it.
Now you mentioned this, and you know, again, I'm the first one to tell you I'm learning too. Do you, as a non-binary artist, does that do you feel like that poses any challenge to you, or is that a new thing that people are embracing? Are they not embracing it? Does it play a role in your art at all? Does anybody, you know what I mean? Think about it. How does that play? You
Yeah,
mentioned it.
yeah. I'm not sure. Aside from the gallery thing and not necessarily wanting to be part of like an all women collective, it I wouldn't say it's super influential in my work.
Okay.
Um, it's something that people have generally received really positively. It's new for some people, and it's hard to get on board, but I wouldn't say that that's affecting my art necessarily.
So it's not posing any, it's not going in either direction. Everybody's, for the most part, just going with the art and not thinking about the other, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Good.
It's been nice to meet other queer artists though, and be kind of more a part of the queer art scene, which is pretty big in Los Angeles. So I've met a lot of really wonderful people through that. So I guess in some ways it has provided some opportunities.
Yeah, and I think like, I mean, I'm thinking about it for myself. I'm like, I would never even think to ask or know. You know what I mean? Like I just like what people do. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
wouldn't ask where this came from. You know, I would either like it or not like it. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know if that would play a role in anybody's business or thought or you know wherever. But you had mentioned it with regards to because I can see that value versus business. You know what I mean? I think about that sometimes too. I'm like, there was a situation recently where I wanted to use something and I was like, I don't know if this, you know what I mean? Like sticks with who TERRAN is, you know? And then I was like, I don't think I can do that because it doesn't stick with who I am. And it, you know, it was kind of an interesting thing that I hadn't thought about much before, but I can understand how value in business, you know, you want to do this project, but it just doesn't sit with your values. And I think that's an interesting concept, even as it pertains to anything, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've run into that a couple of times. Not necessarily with gender, but with other things. Like I do a fair amount of commissions, and someone wanted to commission a drawing from me. And it was a weird request, but they wanted to have a bearded dragon, this lizard, as a cop. And I was like, sorry, I'm not going to do that.
As a what?
As a police officer. I was
Oh,
like,
oh,
no, sorry, I'm not gonna make a nice police officer for you. But yeah, it was, yeah, so that values thing does come in sometimes. I wouldn't say it's like a huge part of my art, but it does come in.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is just something, but it was good. You're able to say it's your projects. You're able to say yay or nay on where
Yeah.
they do. That's a good. That must be a good feeling. You know,
Hmm.
to be able to choose, right? Whether you go in this storefront or not, or whether you make this piece of art or not, or and it's also good to know. Um, it's good for you to good for me people to hear that. How am I say this? I don't know if this is going to be politically correct, but in your world, it's not all for the money; it's for the love.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said,
I
you
would
know,
agree with that. It's for both, right? Like I'm trying to make a living, but it's also very much for the love. And I think that's I kind of try to do that every once in a while. Just say like I'm going to make this series of art, and if you buy that, either a percentage of the profits or all of the profits go to this organization. When I feel like that's a small way that I can help out.
hmm. So what do you think is next for Rosie?
I think some of it is going to be more workshops. I really, really liked doing those, and I think it's really fun to bring art to other people. I'd like to do a lot more of those. Um, I'm also trying to get more into kind of larger scale projects. Like I do a lot of small little things and more, I guess, higher volume. Like I don't make 1,000 pieces a month, but I do make quite a few, and I'm interested in getting more into like more complex, more detailed and intricate pieces that you know might take me a couple of months to finish. I've been saying that for almost a year though that I want to get into that, and then I just keep pushing it aside for a lot of reasons of I think there's always a balance of like trying to have some creativity and exploration, and then trying to stay okay financially and make
Yeah,
money. And so I've been kind of maybe in one direction too much, and I'm trying to go more into the creative exploration side of things.
yeah, that whole money thing gets you every time. You know,
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions for Rosie, please type them in the chat. I know we have a couple of people on right now. Yeah, I think that's, it's so interesting because living in LA, some of us know it's a hard city, you got to make it. But the good thing is that creativity side is also, I think, applauded there, where in some places it may not be as much. I think LA and the coastal cities, LA and New York, you can do anything, and you can try it out. So you have a good landing pad for people who are already just trying out what they want to do, right? Experimenting, like you kind of mentioned, and trying to make ends meet, but also doing things that they love. LA's, I mean, I remember people when I lived there just thinking everybody has like 9 jobs, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think that's true. I'm lucky that I have a W-2 job, as I call it. Nafrisha was the person who originally called it a W-2 job, which I really like.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I'm lucky that I have that for stability. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to try to be full-time artist.
Okay, so I don't know if I was asking this question when I talked to you last, but we're going to ask it now. If we didn't, maybe we did. So, and I don't know if you remember, but I saved these, and don't judge. I know it's crazy. You can laugh if you want. I saved these stray cats in my backyard. I have a whole little setup, Rosie, for them. I feed them. I build them a winter house. I do all this stuff. My husband talks about me. Everybody talks about me. But, they say that saying, curiosity in the cat. So my question at the end for you is, what are you curious about?
Oh, that's a hard question to answer because I feel like there's way more things that I'm curious about that I'm not curious about. I guess like pertaining to art, I'm curious to learn a lot more techniques from other people. Like I do things one way, but that's one way, and I'm curious how other people do things. Um, and just, yeah, learning a lot more about how people do things and then why. Yeah, I feel like could go on forever about the things I'm curious about, but for now I'll just stick with that.
Why people do things, how people do things as it pertains to art or as it pertains
Yeah.
to life.
Yeah, as it pertains to life, I guess I was primarily speaking with art, but yeah, as it just in general too. Like how do you do life?
Yeah, okay. So Rosie poses a great question. If anybody has the answer on how you do life, please make sure you get a hold of both of us. Not just Rosie, get a hold of me too, because I want to know how you do life as well. Well, I really appreciate you coming back on. Like I said, please make sure you're taking a look at Rosie's page and seeing their art and seeing all that they have to offer. I mean, the colors, like I said, just stick off the page. They bounce off the page. Rosie, I wish you, I mean, I'm going to keep stalking you as I did before. But, you know, again, I wish you continued success. You're just, you know, beautiful human inside and out. And I wish you all the success with your art. I can't wait to come out there one day and actually meet you in real life.
Yeah,
I
that
need to
would be
make it
wonderful.
California and see you and Tony and, you know, kind of everybody that I've met, you know, my new West Coast friends. So that is about it, you guys. This is the TERRAN Lamb. So for people who are on, this is the TERRAN Lamb Show, season 7, episode 8. We took a hiatus during the summer months so I could enjoy summertime Chicago. Rosie's in Los Angeles, so they have no that it's cold here because it's never cold there. And I just really appreciate you coming on. Make sure you're subscribing to YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing to Apple Podcast. Make sure you're joining us here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. for my West Coast friends, 8:30 p.m. for my East Coast friends. And I will see you all back here next week. This is the TERRAN Lamb Show, season 7, episode 8, and we'll see you next week. Be good to yourself and each other. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Taryn.
Thank you.